Welcome to Fake Gurus number 5. Today we're talking about the winning stock coach, aka Michael Matthew. And the reason we're talking about Michael Matthew is, look, I want to share with you guys what he's all about. I think he's really an interesting case study that we could learn a lot from. So let's talk about him. This is sort of the outline of what we're talking about today. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is he is the owner of WinningStockCoach. Now, WinningStockCoach, let's see here. WinningStockCoach is a website that is unfortunately no longer available, but exists on the internet in the form of a series of webinars by Michael Matthew himself. And we'll get into why he doesn't have a website anymore in a second. But basically, he was teaching how to do charts, like chart analysis, like a lot of stock gurus on the internet do right now. So he would do market overviews. He would teach you like techniques that he had. He would do position recaps, and he would do all these things like try to teach people how to invest, all these kind of things.
And you see it break the ascending triangle, and every time it does, you see this big volume spike. And then typically what you do is that next candle, you see it kind of hanging out. Where did you run up to here?
So you get the idea. Pretty standard stuff. A lot of people on the internet are doing this kind of like chart analysis. The other thing I wanted to mention is that he has very positive reviews. So I picked a few of my favorites. I've been with WinningStockCoach for a little over a year, but prior to this service, I never traded or knew anything. I've spent the last year studying and learning, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about all his growth, all this stuff. He says it's amazing. He's got a passion to teach, whatever. Great review, right? And then we've got only educational service. This is the service for you. It's for people who want to learn stocks, who want to learn to fish and not just be fed. Okay, so yada yada yada, telling you how great he is. Then we've also got this one, incredible. After extremes ups and downs on my own and other things that do the run and shoot method of trading, it's been a breath of fresh air and maybe a complete save to feel like I really can learn how to trade and not just trade what others are picking for me. Coach Mike and mods are always willing to work out the kinks. So Coach Mike has pretty incredible reviews, and also on his Angie's List, he's got an A rating. A rating on Angie's List. This is a current rating on his site, WinningStockCoach. Okay? Great reviews. He's got a live trading with a chat room, and then he posts his track record of winning statements. Now, all these things sound great, right? This sounds good. Sounds as good as any standard guru that you might see. Now, let's talk about the only problem, though. The OTP, as they call it. The only problem with old Michael Matthew is he doesn't trade anymore. And if you want to know why he doesn't trade anymore, we just have to go to this, where Michael Matthew was sentenced to 20 years for fraud. Why was he sentenced to 20 years for fraud? After all those good reviews, after all those great reviews, well, he took nearly $500,000 from people who wanted to make secure investments through his company. Now, what a shock, right? Now, if you've been following me and you have some of my intuition, you might have known this guy was a fraud when he starts promising things according to this guy, he promises he made $147 million last year, and according to this, Coach Mike gets 400% gains in as little as 1 day. So if you've been following me for a while, I've been telling you guys that is impossible. That those kind of, whenever someone promises ridiculous gains, there's probably something else going on behind the scenes. And that was certainly the case here. According to, he says he's very sorry. He's very sorry that he stole, however, $500,000 from people. And the judge says, I'm not sure what you're sorry for, because he didn't seem sorry, but when he was taking everyone's money. He got charged with 36 felonies related to theft and securities fraud and was ordered to pay $500,000 in restitution. Okay, here's what I want to draw your attention to. He had convinced people he was a successful trader and could get them large returns on investments from 2014 to 2016. That's what he ran the site. And whatever remorse he did manifest wasn't manifest until he was arrested. It's as fake as the statements he provided to his investors. So unlike Ricky Gutierrez, this guy actually provided statements to his investors. But of course, when you're claiming those kind of crazy returns, they're bound to be forged, and that was the case with this guy. And the thing that I want to point out is, if you were there before he got charged with these things, there were so many people that were positive that this guy was legit. As you saw from those reviews, people were positive that he was nothing but legit. He was some financial wizard, some financial guru, had figured out secrets that no one else had access to. And of course, that was not the case. And in fact, let's see here. And then in fact, how he got the returns he did was he took their money, the people's money who put it in his investment group, and spent it on himself and covered thousands of dollars in losses on his E-Trade account. So he was actually a bad trader. When he was trading on E-Trade, he was losing money, and he kept covering it with the losses of people who thought he was a guru and saw his account balance just keep going up. Little do they know, when they put money with him, it was just dumping into his trading account. And so they kept seeing it go up, but they didn't realize it was because people believed in him and put money into his scheme. Now, there are a lot of different ways for schemes to happen. Not everybody has an investment group. Some people sell courses. Some people just want like fame, and so they just promise ridiculous returns. But you've got to realize, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Now, the SEC, all these people who investigate these things don't have time to investigate every single one. So there are plenty of people out there who we haven't had time to officially debunk and kind of like call to task on what they're claiming. And these guys have also gotten more sophisticated with the lies. But you've got to realize that when these people come out with these crazy claims, you've got to be skeptical. I mean, the real thing I want to make you think about is what was the only thing that what gave away Mike when he was pulling off the scheme. The only thing that gave away Mike that you could have figured out for sure that he was cheating people at the time was his insane returns, because he apparently had put in given investor reports to people to prove what he was making, but those turned out to be lies. But you didn't know at the time. He also had a live trading platform with his chat room that people swore up and down, where he posted his wins and losses. So you couldn't have figured out that way. You couldn't have figured out with his reviews, because everyone's saying he's great. He calls himself a guru. So the only way you know that this guy's a liar and is taking your money is by just evaluating his claims, evaluating what he's saying he's making, and saying, okay, what do I know about people who actually trade on Wall Street? What do I know about the average performance of hedge funds underperforming the average indice? What do I know about Warren Buffett winning the 10-year bet against hedge funds, where hedge funds couldn't outperform stock market indexes? When you see somebody who claims consistent returns, who claims to be making insane returns, you should naturally wonder what's going on here. Don't just accept their claims at face value. Don't wait till the person has to go to jail for you to realize what's going on. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to expose you guys to this person. And the other thing I want to get you thinking about is, like, look, he stole $500,000, and look how many subscribers he has, okay? This guy was not popular. He had, let's see, 262 subscribers, 40,000 views. Now, I don't know what his Facebook presence is like. I mean, I guess we can check. On Twitter, he had 1,900 followers. On Facebook, it looks like his page is expired. In other words, he wasn't that popular. But because people are so desperate, people sunk $500,000 into his fake scheme. So just think, how about those people who have successful channels? What about those people with successful channels? How much money do you think they're taking from people? Now, I can only evaluate the criminality of somebody who's actually been, convicted. But just think about the analogy. I mean, how many people also have supposedly a track record of winning? How many people have a live trading floor with the chat room? How many of them have a bunch of positive reviews? How many of them say there's some financial guru who can teach you how to trade? How many of them offer free trading lessons that look something like this? How many of them? I mean, I bet you can think of a few. And how many of them only have one thing that looks sketchy? And that's what they say they're supposedly making. Don't believe it, guys. Don't believe the hype, okay? Stick with some fundamentals. Don't read people who are making their money from courses, from people who are promising you money if you invest in their investment group, which supposedly has amazing returns. Don't buy into this stuff. And if you have a tip about a fake guru, send it to my email address. But here's the thing. Actually have a tip. So people say please review X, but they don't have any reason that the person is an actual fake guru. If you're going to contact me, make sure you have some kind of evidence or some smoking gun, and maybe you're featured on the next fake guru. I'm obliged to all the tips. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fake Gurus, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hey man, listen to them chords, bass and them drums straight smacking off the wall. I was on the plane and the stewardess said that's foolishness. Over that beat, I can't wait to see what you gon' spit.
Like a jazz player, I improvise wide. Your arms too short to box with God. Yeah, your rhymes ain't like a jazz player, I improvise wide. Your arms too short to